I am not a financial advisor. These videos are all meant for educational purposes only. All Complete Trader Academy videos are my personal opinion and perspective. Trading carries a high level of risk, and all results are your own responsibility. Please always demo first. Hey everybody, welcome back to CTR Review. Today is May 21st, Wednesday, 2025. Hope you had a good day today. So you got to watch previous videos. So one of the options here was talking about, and this was an option that I didn't even like, but we ended up waking up to this, and we were already down here, and then we bounced, looking for a push up. Obviously, to take out these guys here, make a new high, but in general, come back to the 25% as you see we're tagging it. And then the other option was possible that I've talked about a lot of options, but this one was where, we were going to push up first, right? Or not, yeah, push up first, generally wipe them out and then come down. But the idea of all this liquidity with this imbalance, with this breakout level, and I told people, I said, yo, don't be surprised. I even deleted that objective, that target here at 50% of the weekly with that liquidity right there, and then the bearish daily imbalance right there. So I even deleted it yesterday. So if you watched yesterday's video, and that was the target sitting around here, right? That was possible, right? But I deleted it to show that I wasn't married to it. But keeping it simple, sort of bullish. But at the end of the day, we talked about maybe a lower high pulling the rug here. You never know, right? So because of the fact that not only did we come down fast, but we came up fast, right? So logically, it makes sense to come back in here. If you take a look, just look at that high alone, that breakout and bounce, but then the one below it, which is where we're talking about right here. See that? So don't get lost with all this. It's not, it's going to be a lot on the chart, but I'm going to try to make this simple. Okay, so again, the levels, they're all the same. The lines are all kind of stacking kind of on each other, and I'm highlighting them on away from each other in a way. Okay, so bearish, because I just don't want to draw and explain. So I wanted the price to kind of tag on its own, but you can see here that when we made the video here, okay, I talked about that lower high there. Remember that? With this lower highs here, remember the liquidity we built. What did we do? Well, we came up, we made another lower high. We came down, to the bottom of the bearish weekly imbalance, sitting by the purple gap, which is the current week gap. All right, and you can see that everything's quadded on its own to the side. So don't get lost in this, because it's frustrating for me to see this too. Believe me, I just want you to be able to kind of work harder and see it, because it's just the way it is right now. But you can see we bounce from there. We come back to that PM session first in balance. All right, so that's very key in this conversation. They don't make a new high. Okay, so what do? They're coming back down. So they come back down where? They come back to the bearish pink daily imbalance right there and hit the 50, which is also the top of the bullish imbalance again. Okay, so we have that. And that is going to frame the rest of the day initially. So as you'll see here, oh, I know. You can see here that the gray old imbalance is still there. And I got that quadded to the side here, to the right. So I'm not going to include it over here because it's a little bit messy. If I move it over, it's not really necessary right now. But the gray gap is in the background. See that little gray? See it right there? We miss it by a hair right there, which is going to be at 625, 626, right? See that? So but we're tagging that bearish imbalance. I made the weekly bold and the daily bold. Everything else is not bold, except I could do this, which, just to kind of outline the daily or the higher. What I'm trying to do is the daily and the higher time frame is what I'm trying to do here. So let me just do that, just so we can separate each other. And now we have that quadded. We have the opening range gap. The opening range gap is sitting on top of that. So it's of the current week. So it's a little sloppy, but everything's quadded and separated. Okay, so what am I doing here? Well, I understand that we tagged this level, and I understand that we want to pop up and wipe out the sellers above here, and obviously make a new high in general speaking. But that distance, take a look how I get involved here. Just super fire. I'm gonna show this trade just so I can say that, hey, listen, the understanding is that we had this already outlined for us. Then the price from the 50 of the bearish daily imbalance comes to the bottom. Look at the stronger line in the background, which is the weekly gap. We come and we tag the bottom level, but then what do we do here? Look right here specifically, right there. That is the 50% of the current week gap in purple. Okay, that's perfect. That's to the tick. So that already showing that we come back, 3 drives, whatever the case is. This is not a long story, but there's a 5-minute imbalance right here, okay? Right now I'm hovering over the 15-minute. You see it in blue. You can't miss that, right? You see it right there. This is also a breakout level. We push through it. See that swing? So we push through it. There's a 15-minute imbalance. There's a refined 5-minute imbalance, and even there's a 1 minute we're sitting on right here. But what does it really do? It comes down and it tags the top 25% of that bearish daily imbalance, sitting right there. You can see on the 15-minute right here. I'm talking about pre-930. So what am I doing pre-930? Well, I know that we came retraced and we hit that breakout level. That's a perfect area, plus the 5-minute imbalance there. Look at the bodies. It's just trying to fit everything on here. It's so stupid. But you can see that we reach down and we tag it right there. Then we push up for an imbalance. That has an imbalance in itself. It's the last down candle too. You can see my entry is literally on that last open of that down candle right there, right? But look what it's doing with the bodies. Look at the bodies sitting on top of that 15-minute imbalance. And that's perfect. That's strength. See, we wick in and it's fine. All right, we go below it, that's fine. We come above it and we reuse it. Again, on a 5-minute, it's different. But you will also see the fire of it being a first imbalance for the actual 4-hour candle. Again, this is fractal, and I don't have to draw it, but I'm gonna draw it anyway. See this 601 imbalance? So I'm just gonna draw it. You'll be able to see, boom, 50% right there, perfect. If I was to go to a 5-minute, real quick, this is how I make videos long. On a 5-minute, was it a 5-minute? I think it was the 1 minute. I'm tripping. It was the 1 minute. Oh my God, I gotta go. I'm just gonna move this over, but it's the logic of that area, right? See how we tap it right there, right? So we're coming right back to it. Was it a one? I thought it was another time frame. But anyways, that was really what I was trying to show you. You can also use this inversion right there. But this is the first one for that 4-hour. The point is that we're coming in and we're tagging that 25%. So we tag that 25%, we push up, and then guess what? We get the wicks, bodies above. Boom, 930 is already fucking in, dude. My stop loss is already below it. It should not be coming back here. It should be coming rolling right up. So what we're doing is algorithmically, we're going up and then coming down in whatever fashion they do it. But boom, 50% tagged it. Boom, 25% tagged it. We get the first imbalance here. Why is this? Because it's, if you do regular trading hours, it's below the lows. So we're going to use the first one. It didn't matter. I was already in. If you were waiting for that first imbalance, that would have sucked. Because that's a momentum. In general, it's a momentum trade. And you can see that the next candle, the 931, comes above, or it is above the bearish daily imbalance right there, right? The high, see that right here? And then it tags it right there. See how it tags it right there? And it's gone. Then it makes the next imbalance. And some people will think this is the first imbalance, but this one actually worked. But what is it? It's also an imbalance. And that's a breakout area right there. And then we come back and we test it. Look at the 50% hitting it perfectly. That would have been your entry right there if you didn't, obviously, if you're not using momentum or bouncing off of here. That's just, there's nothing else I could tell you. But what am I doing? When I'm taking this trade, I'm very clear about where I'm going with this. I'm going where? Well, number one, I have the liquidity here. Number two, I have the 25%. I'm looking for a weekly level to go to, obviously, and this is that 25%. Remember, I took the sell from right here, right there at the 25%. Oh, I didn't take it at the 25%. It hit it and then sold it here. But remember, look at how that key level and they dropped and broke through. And then the opening range gap is still unsealed. Pay attention to the details. What's above that? Well, we have that previous day's gap. Okay, the open. Okay. We have that one standard deviation up there. We've already came below the Asia range. Don't get lost with the standard deviations. All right, it's clean. All right, almost to the 2 standard deviation down here, but that's not what's more important. What's more important is algorithmically that level, as you see it. And then what am I holding for? So 1001 happens right here. This bullshit manipulation. And obviously, when the drop came, it was manipulation. But the 1001 here snaps. I mean, instantly. I was like, dude, that's so fucking unfair. And I was like, you know what? We're definitely going to keep going up because they're on some bullshit here. But that wasn't even my minimum target. My minimum target, as you see, is right there. I can't make that up. That's specific. Why am I circling it from here to here? Because above this 25% on the weekly is, remember, this is not sealed. And also, what is right to the left? That high. Okay, so my main target is tagging this. What do? Well, I don't have to be right. We come into it. We push right through. I said, okay, I'm going to trail it from now. All right, so we trail it. I push it up. And then where does it go here? Why do I got this little dot here? Why do I have that there? Because I'm referencing that daily gap. I'm being very specific here. All right. And then it's also a hair above that is this 1 standard deviation above. I have it projected here with this consecutive down candles on the 15-minute with the wicks. There was a number of ways to do this, but I obviously could see that the 1.5 was just, sitting above here. You could play around with that and see what it ended up being perfect. It came to the 2 if I was to hold it to the 2, but at this point I want to squeeze and be done because of the London close. I don't want to see that shit come back on me and then whip into here. Or, hey, like I said in the example, we could sell off. We, in this example here, we pushing up. We don't have to take out that high. And this is what experienced traders understand. But they're going to pull the fucking rug on your ass. But I've talked about this being very suspect and possibly selling off. But I'm still in the flow of taking my trade. And guess what? You got to take the fucking profit. Oh, my dog's throwing up. Fuck. Riley. Oh, fuck. All right, man. And then, so this, I can't get more clear than that. So then we hit my target again. And then after that, I'm squeezing up. I'm hoping for a push through, but guess what? They started playing around with 3 drives up there. And then they sold off at the 1250, which is crazy because I fucking saw it happening. I was like, oh my God, this is so easy. But, I'm doing this to prove it, to squeeze it out. But anyways, do you see how it tagged that right there? That PM sessions 50%. I mean, that's to the tick, right? Boom, super unfair. Come back. Okay, so let me get back into this. So we're pushing up. Look how it's going through the algorithmic levels. You got 25% here this is 50% of the opening range gap in that orange. You have the 25% there right below the bottom of the daily of the current week gap. We came in 25%, then 50%, then this 50% pushes up, bounces on the 50% of the current week gap, and then fucking top 25%. Then we tag this 25% right there. Boom, come to seal it, come right back in, shoot to there, shoot to there, shoot to this 25% of the current week gap. Doesn't even tag that 25%. Get to the, they were trying to hit this area, but then you got the daily gap. We expand right to this weekly gap, weekly 25%, and that's the explanation. And guess what? Squeeze it and be motherfucking done. This is a 1 contract situation. If you got 10, 20 accounts connected, that's fucking crazy money, right? For a 1 contract. But the drives, the weekly level, the key algorithmic situation, it's not all random. But what was also in my favor when I was taking this buy? You see this high right here? See this high? See how we made that high and we shifted above that high? See this high? See, we made that low and then we popped above, right? See that? So that right there is a nice shift. And then what does it do? It retraces deep. If it's a shift, that would look the way it looks. That's perfect. Last down candle on the 15-minute. Don't even need to go through that either, right? That's also probably at the same specific exact level as that last down candle's open. But the point is that that shift hitting the 50%, shifting, retracing to the 25%, and watching it tag it. Yo, that's butter. What are you doing? You're going for a new high. Look, but do you see how I'm squeezing out? I don't give a fuck if it takes out that high, or if it comes to this 50 that we thought it might come to. I deleted it yesterday, didn't I? Okay, can't make this shit up. So, anyways, that being said, just fire, man. But guess what? Then they pull the rug. Look at beautiful. This shit became, oh my goodness. Look at this. We get to the -2. And I was like, you should have held it there, bro. But I was like, nah, London close, I'm good. Right? Because we didn't get a pullback yet. So because we didn't get a pullback yet, I was like, yeah, nah, I'm good. If we had already got a pullback and then it was already up here, and we were still flowing, I would have held it, tried to hold it more. But look what it did. I got out right here, but I have to allow I put the stop loss under here, but I'm not even trying to give back no money. Is really what I'm doing. So I don't give a fuck. But to re-enter, bullish and balance right there, pushes up, inversion right there. It's holding, another drive up, retraces back. On the 5 minute, it's a lot cleaner. And as you can see here, you can almost say it's 4 drives, but say 1, 2, 3, 4. If you're not counting this bullshit, that's 1, 2, 3. Again, just use that logic loosely. -2 getting hit. Let me go back to 1 minute. This is how I make fucking videos long. And then what's it called? Breaks through where at specifically 1250. So you have to keep, and that's why I really wanted to sell this, because of the fact that we're underneath the present previous day's gap. Okay, plus we got these drives. It's very possible to slip the rug, people holding the bag for that high, and that's exactly what they fucking did. Pull that bitch. But here, the time is involved, and we have another drive, and I was like, dude, the time is involved. I was already done. I was already even kind of tired. I've been doing a lot of extracurricular activities after, in the evening. So just, anyways, beautiful. Look at the speaker. Look at the fanning out of this controller price right there. See that? See this 1257 up candle? Look how we pop in it. We pop in the next up candle. It's a shift. See that shit right there? Controller price. Boom. Where's it going? Now, if you're in this cell and you took this cell, where would you take this at minimum? Well, we have that level there. That was unfair because look, it's a breakout area, and so is that. It broke through. So, but in the general term, you could have, made from this low to this high at 50%. In general speaking, you're looking for it to break up through, but mean reversion is basically what's possible. What else is possible? Well, any of these key levels. So we have the PM session from yesterday, first gap, first balance. We have the daily gap for today. We have this whole current week gap. The high of it. You have look how it goes through it. Look how it goes through it. Can't make this up. Look at this. Look, it comes to the 25% of the current week gap. Then comes to the 50. Bounces, hits right there on the bottom of the weekly. Look how I'm separating it. Okay, you got to make sure you don't get lost in this. Okay, I'm trying to do this on purpose so you could see it. Okay, because the opening range gap is sitting on fucking top, man. But look how it's coming in. All one candle's up. Beautiful. Oh my god. Look where it stops right there at the 25. Goes through. Hits the bottom of the current week gap, bounces back up to the 25%, goes through. Now we're back in the first imbalance of today, right? Because that was an easy buy. It was an easy buy, and that should also be an inkling as well that it might come back down too. Plus all the shit I just said. Okay, what are we doing? We came up 25% of the opening range gap. Body sitting there tagging. Boom, comes lower right into this lower daily imbalance, bearish imbalance, goes through it, goes through it, goes through it, goes through it. Okay, comes through it, and then we have this old week gap here. Okay, look at the 50% where the bodies stop. comes back in at 50% of the actual wick. And then we almost hit this 25% of the gap, and then uses this area to be solid and buy it. Why is this also key? This area. Why is this key to buy it here? Or as a possible buy, or whatever the case is, or as even a target. Again, you could have used any of these levels that I've mentioned as a target, right? Whatever you know, even if you just looked at liquidity here, here, this imbalance, and ultimately there. But the point is that look to the left here, look at the daily, Don't get lost. That's just the standard deviations. This is the weekly. This is the daily bullish imbalance. Look at the 25%. Look at this 25% mixed with, coupled with this bearish daily imbalance, the low one right there, and then, which is here on the 1 minute chart here, and then what's there? 50% of this gray gap. So you have that level, and then the daily, right? So you have all that going, and this. So 1, 2, 3, 4. This whole area right here. It's coupled with that. Bounces up. Tries to get any breakout traders here. Because by here, they're like, oh my God. Everybody wants to keep holding and buying. Sure enough, quickly. Oh, such a fucking beautiful move. Oh my God. Anyways, and then what does it do? Well, we come back up. 25% here. Tags right there on the first imbalance for the PM session right there. See that? Taps in, pushes up, stops. It's not going to go anymore. This is like a sort of controller price. It becomes a sell by sell situation if it's a break, and if we're going to keep going lower, you're going to have to see lower low, lower high situation. That's what that is, popping back up into the current week gap. And then look at the bodies here. If I was to the first imbalance drag that out, you'll see that it's dirty, but we're dancing up and down, lower lows and lower highs in here. You can see it. Boom, underneath it now, 930. Don't forget the 930s. I don't know if I said that yet, but that's also in this point because the first imbalance happens to be by the 930 open. You see we're underneath it. Underneath it there, tagging it. Boom. Then we come to, we get time involved. Boom, we tag this again, but then we get right here. See right here, it's not going up, right? So you're not using this imbalance to buy up unless you just, you took it from here to here or something. But you got to take profit. But the point is that it's lower highs kind of being created. So then algorithmically, you're going to see it come underneath it. Look at the bodies at 50%, wicks above, seals it, and look at the time, 251. So we already have time involved for the 250. We roll right into the PM, the power hour at 3 o'clock, and then just shoots down for where? I didn't want to drag this out, so I'm going to leave this to the side. It drags out, and then now it's getting back to that 50, which is why is this 50 here is we have that liquidity from Monday, the low, right? So if they're coming lower, then they're going to come into also get into this imbalance. If I go to a 1 hour, I can probably refine it. I'm going to just do this real quick because of the video. And then you can see that underneath that 50 is that hour imbalance as an example. And we almost seal it perfectly. I'm going to leave that for now. And then you can see us coming into it, right? On this time frame on the 1 hour, and you can see it. Almost seals, comes up, bounces on top, goes all the way back up. Any sellers here? Oh, what is that? You don't say. So that right back to there. And then the point is that they're inching their way down to get breakout traders. And then obviously from, damn man, it's kind of hard to show this. That low that we broke initially in the year, right? We came back up above it. Someone's making a decision of buying at that level, which would then be over here as a breakout. I got it real thin because it's just a level that I end up watching. But here, as you see, we broke through. We made that daily imbalance. So I talked about coming into this area most likely because the damage was already kind of done here. They weren't fucking caring about these people here. Could they have went up in there? Sure, but they did not. Right? But that's the experience that I know that's possible, right? So and we came in and then we cleared that level. I can grade it with a 4 hour. I'm not even gonna go there, dude. Look at the bodies sitting above that 50% on this 1 hour. But again, tagging to 50, which is the liquidity there. This is a long video, isn't it? Almost coming into here. Almost 3 standard deviations down. Just 1, 2. It's in the background. Remember, don't get lost in it. 1, 2, 3. I'm sorry, almost 4, right? And that's where we are. So yeah, I gotta do something. Fuck, man, I gotta do something different. So hopefully this is, you're not lost in all that. It sucks. I'm lost in it. I'm not necessarily lost in it. You know, you could delete everything on the chart and just say, hey, it's a speaker. They continue with another lower low. They didn't even have to make this high, and they just pulled the rug. In general speaking, it could have made a high and then still came down to mean reversion or blow through and come down here. We don't know. But it made sense that they didn't leave. They weren't going to make that easy, which is why I understand speakers. Well, so what most people are having trouble in the market, you know, I'm not having as much trouble as the general person, only because of the fact that I know what manipulation looks like, and this is as pure as it gets. I mean, fuck, what are you talking about? You think buyers and sellers really wanted to push it right to there and then not go any higher? Why would buyers do that? We're in a buyer's world in general speaking for over 100 years. So it's just like I said, could be that low or high. I talked about, you know, look, even when you looked at this example that I've still got to the left, you know, we didn't get, it's like we came down and then you pop up for a lower high, right? This is obviously not as pretty, but the way this speakered out, the way this comes back up deep, and we're sitting already tagging the up candles. Another thing I wasn't really mentioning, but if you look at the high here, look at the open here. The open of this candle right here, this weekly. You see, there's one there and one there, right? We didn't even get to that level, but this is the consecutive candles, and right there, these are the last up move. Right, you see that, and if you see that open, look to the right. We're sitting on there, and it's pretty much the same level as the 25% of the weekly imbalance. See that? So there's that, and then and look how the bodies of last week were sitting on these last up 2 candles right here. See this candle right here? Not that important, but you know, in this 50% of this wick right here. You know, it's overkill, but at the same speaking, the logic is there, right? Pulled it. Oh my God, time involved. I was telling myself, I was like, because I wasn't trading, I was done. Once I got this, I'm done, dude. Like, I'm already tired. But I do understand that I have move 1 from the retracement down. I was move 2, push up. If it pushes up and it's move 2, just like here, I'll bring it back. We already have move 1 down to the left of the chart. So move up, move 2 is what I'm looking for. I'm trying to roll into move 2, and that's what I'm doing here. But what if they don't make that new high? Where's move 3? Pfft. Boom. Move 3. All right? Move 3. And this is still kind of 3. So where do we go from here? Oh, I have to move forward, bro. Fuck dollar. Just sitting around still. But could be a nice bounce for dollar where, okay, is this where they're pulling the rug? And we're going up with dollar and we see some more strength and we start coming down? Or is this just bullshit and it's still dollar's still gonna come down? If dollar's still gonna come down, then I'm gonna say that we're still going up. And if we're buying up with dollar now, I would say then we're kind of coming down. So I got to keep it that simple. I wouldn't do any more. I wasn't involved in the rest of the day, but this is the reason also why I bought, was because of the fact that we had higher lows with S&P and NAS, and then we had lower lows here. So as you'll see here, though, I wasn't a part of the sell, but that would have been fucking beautiful. Lower highs there with Dow. All right, beautiful, man. Oh boy. And then I was like, yeah, all in the video yesterday, I was like, you know, and I don't just be rambling. I have to think out loud with you guys live, right? Nothing's private here, but as you see, I saw this as being too perfect. I said, look at the last higher low days, I think I mentioned this specifically, and I mentioned this specifically, right? With Dow, didn't I? Yeah. And we just tagged them. So it made sense for the present time. Or did I say it with S&P? They're both the same. It was both the same logic, and we definitely took those out. So again, look at that, and look at this high right here. That's a breakout level right there, right? See how we pushed up and we bounced? So this is a speaker here. They didn't see that. They just saw higher highs and higher lows. So I saw the speaker already, but now they're creating their speaker here. So highs, and then you got the lows. So the origin could be here. Come down, take this low or this low, and then buy back up. Or it's going to be, a resistance somewhere that we're creating here, and then we roll over again. So down, up, down, right? To maybe get into here now, and then it's like, oh, we knew it, and look at gunning for it now. Fucking knew it, bro. Fucking knew it, dude. And I can't make that up. I've been saying it. I've been saying it. It's just I wasn't fighting the bullish. I still bought. You still saw what I did, but what? Well, how did I win? You take the profit. I didn't need to be right to come up here or any higher. I squeezed it fucking when we hit here, right? And then if it's going to go without me, go without me. And I'll be looking for a trade to sell up here. Maybe not in the same day, but in general, but okay, that didn't happen. So that sell was beautiful to take from there. I swear my mother I saw it. Why? Because of time. I have an alarm. I have alarms that kick on and let me know every macro time of the day. So, and I was like, you bitches. Boom. Another thing I was mentioning with this looked very bullish, right? But when being very bullish, we should not be coming back here. So we did retrace, and I was like, all right, fine. It still looks bullish there. And we did make a new high. Well, there's a speaker. That's to show you manipulation. That's to fucking show you manipulation. Perfect right there. And then, boom. They pulled the rug. So that's where we're at here. In general, I'm not going to go crazy about it. I'm just going to look at it as topping for a possibly lower high if we're bearish to come really lower, or if we're still bullish and I'll keep being bullish. I'm looking at this as a retracement, and in this case, this looks pretty fucking obvious right here. This candle, if they don't, maybe they use this as support and it's a bull flag, and we bounce up again like crazy. But this breakout level here makes perfect sense. Even here, see this right here? So we'll see if they want to retrace and then buy back up or come underneath that. Nothing really else to say there. So if I do this, let's keep this, I'll try to keep this simple. And I'm sorry with all this nasty shit. It's too much on the fucking chart, dude. Oh. But I guess I'm too lazy to redraw it or talk about this every day. Otherwise, videos are going to be fucking... No one's doing this every day for someone. So, again, I would like, in a perfect world, if we're bullish, I'd like to see it... I'd like to see it... Well, not even go any lower from here. It could just buy back up. And you'd be like, that's crazy, right? Yeah, well, that's option one for being bullish. Okay, or we're going to come down. Because I was talking about the week. Let me delete this. I was talking about this week. Remember? I said, I'd like to see it come into the body of the previous week. And I was talking about Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday being the high of the week. If it was a bearish candle. So here you see Tuesday. Wasn't it Tuesday? Yeah, it was Tuesday right here. Tuesday was the high when they rated Monday, and then they faked the funk here, and then brought it down. So, if Thursday's tomorrow and we're gonna expand, I could see another bearish day might come back into today's candle that we've created. So let me just draw it. The second option of being bullish, if it just happens to be just a bigger wick and be a bullish week candle, maybe something like this, who knows? And then does it want to does it want to stop here since the next day will be Friday, or is it going to go all the way, right? And that's it. So those are the bullish examples. Now I'm going to do bearish. And I mean, I've already talked about this example coming down. We've already came down. So do we pop up like this and do this? Okay. Or, you know, or it just doesn't really come too much higher. Okay. And then it just comes down. All right. That's it. I know I've said enough, and fuck 35 minutes. You guys take care. God bless.